welcome to the Padawan Podcast, Apocalypse Movies, all Star Wars podcast, where we geek out on everything from the galaxy far, far away. My name is Jake Berlin, aka Qui-Gon Jake, and I am joined today by two fellow table members. First up, Jacob Bartley, aka Grandma Bartley. How you doing, sir?
I am doing fantastic. I'm glad we're doing the Padawan Podcast consistently again.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah, we also got Admiral AckBarnes himself, Keith Barnes. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Glad to be back. It hurt me to miss the last one.
Oh, I know. We just missed it. How funny was it that right after we finish, Colin Trevorrow gets announced being off of episode 9. Like, literally, right after we finished shooting the show. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was a bit of a bummer, too, because that would have escalated to like another 20-minute conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
So, we got some cool things to talk about today. Not a ton of stuff has been dropping over the last 2 weeks. Obviously, we got some big stuff with Star Wars Episode 9, and then we're going to get into some canon stuff a little bit later with some books and comics. But we're going to start off with the big news over the last week or so. J.J. Abrams, the director of Star Wars The Force Awakens, has returned to the galaxy far, far away. He will be writing and directing Episode 9, stepping in for the recent departure of Colin Trevorrow. It's a name that we kind of talked about here and there, but not really speculated that would return. Obviously, the top choice was Rian Johnson. People were throwing out Ava DuVernay, Jon Favreau, Patty Jenkins as well before the whole Wonder Woman thing. But in all, it does make sense. So we're just gonna have a discussion about it, talk about it, what we think. Maybe if we don't like it, Jacob, I'm gonna go to you first, man, because we actually haven't talked about it in person yet.
Yeah.
What do you think of them bringing back J.J. Abrams? Does it make sense? And is the move too safe for the final movie of this trilogy?
I don't think you can be too safe lately with Star Wars, because look at what's been happening with all these directors. Even the director of Rogue One had troubles. They had to do the reshoot.
Gareth Edwards,
yeah. And then obviously the Han Solo stuff. Now the Last Jedi stuff. They had trouble with Josh Trank. So I don't think this is time to do any testing with directors or like have an experiment with somebody like Ava DuVernay. I think going with J.J. Abrams is the right choice, and I think being safe is the best thing to do right now. I think they can use new directors in the future, even with episodic films, but giving the past trouble they've had recently, I think Abrams is the best choice. And I never thought of Abrams coming back as a real possibility for me, so I never really, before it was announced, I never thought about it really.
Yeah.
But now that it's announced, I love it. Honestly, I do.
It makes sense. It adds a new element to the saga. Like, what are they trying to do? Like, did J.J. Abrams always have like a 3-film plan basically for this series?
I'm sure when they started The Force Awakens, him and Kathleen Kennedy had a story arc they wanted to go.
Well, I think he's in is he in the Lucasfilm Brain Trust? Is he part of that?
I'm sure.
I think he is.
Yeah, he's a producer on The Last Jedi, for sure. But no, it makes sense because, first of all, Star Wars is probably like one of the biggest movies you could ever direct in your life. Don't get me wrong, people would love to do it, but who wants to do 2 back-to-back in a row? I bet you Rian Johnson did not want to do that. Maybe they asked him, and he said, you know what, guys, I'm good. I can't do this. I just want to sit back and be a fan. He even said that. So it makes sense. J.J. Abrams has had a big break, and now he's fresh. He's ready to go. I think this is perfect, honestly.
Well, and he also said it was either the premiere or the press junk, is that during filming, he was only going to do one movie. He was excited just to do one movie, hand it off to someone else. Yeah. But then when the movie ended, he felt like regret because he wanted to do more.
And once you're away from it, then you kind of want to go back to it. And some people are complaining about Abrams coming back, and a lot of those people say, oh, A New Hope, or The Force Awakens is just A New Hope. No, it's not.
It's not.
It has similar elements, but it is not A New Hope. It makes me upset when people say that. So
I agree.
And he's not going to remake Return of the Jedi. Right. Don't worry about that.
He's not. He already, if people want to argue, he already kind of remade a movie, even though he didn't, because it's not A New Hope. It's going to be something completely new.
Oh, for sure.
Keith, what do you think about this, man? Are you a fan of him coming back? Would you have wanted to see someone else step in the role, or are you excited to see what he does with a third movie?
Oh, Patty Jenkins, he hurt me. That hurt. I was man, I would have bet the house.
Wow, she's busy.
Gonna do it, but
she's busy.
Well, now apparently that's falling through. It's not a coincidence, by the way. They announced she's gonna do Wonder Woman 2 right after they announced J.J. Abrams. So I think she was in play. I really do. But no, I'm okay. I like J.J. Abrams a lot. I think he's made a bunch of stuff that we all love, whether it's TV or film. He knows what he's doing. He created a bunch of these characters. He created Rey. He created I think
Finn,
all those
Poe,
guys. He created all those
all
guys.
those
Him
guys,
and
yeah.
Lawrence Kasdan.
And they're
created those
already
characters.
so iconic,
Right.
too.
So this is his thing. It's okay that they're bringing him back. Like you guys said, and a lot of people are saying it didn't even occur to me until they announced it. I went, oh yeah, J.J. Abrams, okay, because I'm not surprised about Rian Johnson, like you guys mentioned. I mean, sure, it takes a lot out of you to direct a movie of this scale, and I'm sure he has other things he wants to do. I would have thought that about J.J. Abrams as well. I thought
He hasn't done anything since The Force Awakens.
but
he's
not
only
really.
produced some
He's
TV.
produced,
yeah.
and I think he produced the Cloverfield,
Yes,
the
10 Cloverfield Lane,
and the new one that's coming out, the
God
God
Particle.
Particle. But other than that, yeah, not doing a whole lot on the film side. So bring him back. Why not? I mean, in terms of people are saying, like you mentioned, like Ava DuVernay or even the Han Solo, Ron Howard,
Ron
or
Howard,
something like
yeah.
that. I think they just wanted to get someone. I mean, J.J. Abrams, like I just mentioned, he created these characters. He started this whole thing off. They're gonna bring him back in just to finish it off, and then when they start if they start a new trilogy, then they can start looking into, those other directors like DuVernay or Patty Jenkins.
I don't
or,
think he'll direct
whoever.
another one.
I don't think
J.J. Abrams.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I won't be surprised.
He'll
if
be
he
a
does.
part of
For
the
sure.
trust,
Oh, definitely,
always.
definitely.
Yeah, because he seems to be pretty. He's into this world. I think he really.
Well, he's a true fan, and
Yeah.
this, after all of the stuff that's gone on with Colin Trevorrow, it needed a real fan behind it,
I agree.
and just someone to kind of bring us to the end
Yeah.
of this trilogy, and whether it's going to start something new off or whatever, it needed someone to just kind of know what they're doing with this product, and people don't realize that he's one of the few directors who hasn't really had a major issue with the studio.
Yeah.
There's stuff with Gareth Edwards, the Colin Trevorrow stuff, obviously the Phil Lord and Chris Miller stuff. Rian Johnson's the only one who hasn't had a single thing go on with this film. J.J. Abrams, there was the Harrison Ford injury that went on.
Yeah.
There was some stuff with the Michael Arndt script when he first got brought on.
Yeah.
But he works well with Kathleen Kennedy. He works well with the trust that's going on there.
Yeah.
So it's a safe choice, yes, but it's the best choice for the movie because of all the issues it's gone through lately.
Definitely,
And
yeah.
it makes complete sense. As far as Rian Johnson goes, I wouldn't be surprised if he said, yeah, I'll do the movie if you give me 6 months of break. If you push this movie back, and they're like, no, we can't do that. And so he's like, okay, I have to step off. So that's probably where it went, because I guarantee you they courted him for weeks and weeks just trying to get him on this movie to continue the story.
Well, they're supposed to start production in January.
Yeah, and they already pushed it back.
A year and a half right after the release
Yeah.
of this one. They're going to get right back into
So,
it.
and it makes sense. This movie is by far the biggest scale he's ever done, because he did Brick, which was an indie film. He
Very
did
small.
Looper, which was a studio movie, but it was still very small.
It was.
So this is by far the biggest movie he's ever done. And a break's needed. I mean, look at J.J. Abrams. He wanted a break. He hasn't done a single movie since, and it's been nearly 3 years, or 2 years, I guess I could say. And so it makes sense. I'm excited for it because I like J.J. Abrams movies myself. I like his TV shows, Super 8, Mission Impossible, the Star Trek movies.
The first one is amazing.
Even I like Into Darkness
So do
too.
I.
Me too.
I like even though yes, it bears similarities to Wrath of Khan, it's still a very good movie.
No, I really like Into Darkness, but the first
The
one's
first
just
one,
a masterpiece.
yes.
Yeah.
Super 8 as well. That
love
movie
Super 8.
is
I love that
awesome.
movie.
It's such a well crafted movie, and all of his TV stuff too, like Lost. He was a big part of Lost back in the day.
I think he's still producing Star Trek, too. I think he's producing the next one as well.
I think Bad Robot, his company,
he was involved.
he threw
He
his
was
company in
involved
there
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a good move. It makes sense, and we've seen what he can do with Star Wars movies before, or at least just one time before. Imagine what he's gonna be able to do with just a new type of feel after what Rian Johnson does with the franchise.
And he gets, I don't think Luke's dying in The Last Jedi.
He
And
he gets to
work with Luke for a whole movie.
he gets to write dialogue for Luke.
Exactly. So that's going to be awesome.
What did you guys? I was never into the Colin Trevorrow selection in the first place, and I'm not a fan of Jurassic World. I did like Safety Not Guaranteed. I like
Safety Not Guaranteed is
I
fantastic.
thought it was pretty good.
So
it was very
good.
funny, quirky, and I love the performances in it, especially Jake Johnson. He was very funny. But for him to go from that to Jurassic,
It was too
World
early.
to Star Wars.
It was too much of a jump too quickly.
Yeah, too high, too fast. you know?
Yeah, so it was interesting. I thought he was gonna. I mean, he did Jurassic World, did okay with that movie, but that wasn't like a Star Wars feel, because that was just like a popcorn flick.
Yeah.
Star Wars is something different, and a lot of people were kind of against it, but you never know what kind of director can kind of do with these movies. and he wasn't writing it. I don't think, or he
He
might have
was.
been co-writing. Was he writing
Yeah.
it? Okay.
He wrote
yeah.
that. Well, he
he
wrote the
was.
He was writing
Ryan
it?
He
Johnson
turned
wrote
in a new script
Okay.
before they fired him, basically. No,
Okay.
I thought it was... Well, I haven't seen Safety Not Guaranteed, but I've heard great things.
It's pretty good.
So, look, they saw that movie, and, great movie, right? And then he did Jurassic World. You guys might not like it. I thought it was...
I enjoyed the hell out of it.
I think it's so entertaining.
Yes.
So, look, you have great storytelling with great characters. Experience in a big, huge blockbuster movie. That's a perfect combination for somebody to direct a Star Wars film. But I was never excited about Colin Trevorrow directing this movie. I was excited about Rian Johnson because I've seen Looper and I've seen Brick.
Yep.
But I was never excited about Colin Trevorrow, so I'm happy about this, honestly.
Well, we also have to remember the fact that his latest film, The Book of Henry, basically was an all-around bomb.
Yeah.
Critically,
sure.
box office-wise, just is pretty much a wash for him.
Yeah.
So, Keith had mentioned Patty Jenkins and Wonder Woman 2. Well, speaking of Episode 9, the film was received a new release date, and it'll be going up against Wonder Woman 2 on December 20th, 2019. That may have had a factor in Patty Jenkins choosing Wonder Woman 2. You never know. It's not a huge piece of news, but it's interesting because the film was supposed to be slated in May. It seemed like Star Wars was kind of transferring back into the month of May, which is the home of Star Wars, even though they've been crushing in December the last few years. But with the recent turnover of directors, they pushed the movie back from May to December. Do we like it? Do we like the movies going back to December? Do we hate that we have to wait a year and a half rather than a year for a Star Wars movie? Jacob, let's go to you first, man.
So I think, weren't they a week apart?
They are.
Wonder Woman and...
Are they a week apart?
Yeah, I think
they
they're
are a week apart. Okay,
so
that's on,
no
that's
matter
on.
what, Wonder Woman's moving. No,
Yes.
it doesn't matter. The
Whether
Last Jedi-
it's a week or just 2 weeks.
it doesn't
it's-
matter. Wonder Woman is moving.
gonna move.
I think it's going to move up to November.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, why
Type
not?
Well, that's when
If
Justice
if you
League
just
is.
separate it a month apart, that's enough time for Wonder
Yeah.
Woman to make its money. It'll still make a lot of money, but there's no way they're staying that close together.
No.
There's no way. But this makes sense though, because look, J.J. Abrams didn't know he was going to direct this movie until relatively recently. They might have had it.
It might have been like a month ago,
Yeah, but
2 months
still,
ago.
Colin Trevorrow has been working on this for years. How long ago did they announce Trevorrow? A long time
Well,
ago.
and they announced J.J. Abrams as a writer, which means he's doing a whole new draft.
Yeah, so that means he needs at least another 6 months. I think this makes sense. I actually have become accustomed to the December release date for Star Wars. I love that it's around holiday time with the family. All the toys come out.
Everyone has time off.
Exactly. I love that. That way I can go watch the movie 10 times in theaters and not have to worry about school or other things like that. So I think the release date makes sense for multiple reasons, and I will bet $100 that Wonder Woman 2 is moving, maybe even more.
I echo everything he said. I'm just super bummed that we have to wait a year and a half.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
An extra 6 months longer is just a little bit of a bummer situation.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. We're gonna get so much more cool stuff though.
They're
we're
very,
gonna
very
get-
true.
I think
Imagine all
both
the
Avengers movies are gonna be out by the time.
yes, 2018, 2019. Yeah, you're
we're gonna
right.
get both of
Oh my
those. We're gonna get
goodness.
so
We're so spoiled.
that's okay.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Infinity War Part 2 and
Mm-hmm.
the final Star Wars movie of this trilogy in the same year.
Yeah,
Jesus.
That is
Yeah.
insane.
That's
and
crazy.
Captain Marvel, right? Doesn't it come out
Yeah.
in 19 as well?
In May.
In that May that year.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
No, I
Wait,
think
no.
it may be earlier.
Infinity War Part 2 comes out in May.
No, March.
Yeah.
March is Captain
March,
Marvel.
yeah, you're right.
I can't wait. That's gonna be
Jeez,
such a
2019 is
great
going to be crazy.
Right.
All right, so our final movie news topic of the show, it's just a little bit of a cool little cameo in The Last Jedi. If you've seen Rian Johnson's previous films, you know that he loves working with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Joseph Gordon-Levitt showed up to the Force Awakens premiere dressed as Yoda with a green face and robes and everything, and he's been given a cameo role in The Last Jedi. Don't worry, you won't be seeing his face, or it won't be blatantly clear. It'll be more like a Daniel Craig type stormtrooper thing where he's playing, or he's voicing an alien, I should say. They didn't reveal where or why. It's more than likely going to be on Canto Bight, which is the casino planet that we'll be seeing in The Last Jedi. This is cool. I mean, I love that they're giving all these cameo roles to these big name actors. Tom Hardy was also revealed to have a cameo as well in the movie. It leaves me interested to see who they're going to bring back for episode 9. Who's close to J.J. Abrams that we know of that could possibly be in there, like Simon Pegg was. Are you happy that Joseph Gordon-Levitt is going to be getting an alien role, or would you like to have seen his face in the movie?
Oh, I want to see him.
Yeah?
That would be hilarious to see him as someone in whatever's left of the Senate, something like that, or maybe. I got it. Just occurred to me. Okay, so you guys have read Bloodline. What if he's that senator?
Ransom
That
Casterfo?
That's who he is. Done. I'm calling it right now.
No, I would love that. But
Ransom's one of his favorite characters.
I love that character.
That's who he is.
That could work, but I don't know, because, I mean, here's the thing. I listen to the audiobook, so I have that voice that they use in the audiobook in my head, and it doesn't sound like Joseph Gordon-Levitt. But I can't think like that, because that's just the way the reader interpreted the voice, and it was kind of like I think it was like a British accent or something like that, similar to that. But I just don't see that. But didn't they announce that it was going to be a voice for Joseph
pretty sure it
Gordon-Levitt?
was just going to be a voice.
Yeah,
so an alien voice.
I wouldn't mind, like, I wouldn't want him to be a main character in a Star Wars movie, but like they said, it's a cameo. That would be awesome. Like, that would be awesome for sure.
I think if he was to ever get a lead role in a Star Wars movie, give him something that's like a spin-off.
Oh, for definitely an
something away
film.
from the saga story.
I would love it. He's one of my favorite actors, so I would love
strong,
that for sure.
So it'll be interesting to see how big of a role he played, because Simon Pegg pretty much played a decent-sized role in The Force Awakens. Rian Johnson could give him a good role in this movie.
Yeah, I could see it being the same size as an Unkar Plot type role.
That character had a bigger role in the book, in the novelization.
The actual book,
so, yeah.
Doesn't Chewie rip off his arm?
Yeah.
No, that's a deleted scene, too. That's an actual deleted scene.
He followed them to Maz Kanata's
house. Yes, that's right. All right, so that's going to wrap up our movie news. We're going to jump into some canon stuff. We're going to start off with Leia, Princess of Alderaan, the latest novel to come out by Claudia Gray. These two have started reading. I have yet to catch up on it, but they're going to kind of talk about a little bit their expectations for the back end of it and kind of what they're reading right now. So go ahead, boys.
Man, so this book is by Claudia Gray, and she's written my favorite Star Wars novel and one of my other favorites, Lost Stars. So she wrote Bloodline and Lost Stars, and it's about Leia, one of my favorite Star Wars characters. So I had to get on this as soon as it came out. The day that it came out, I went and got it on Audible.com.
I'm waiting for my damn credit, man.
Yeah, what's going on with that? No, but so far I absolutely love it. It has the potential to beat Bloodline.
Does it have a Bloodline type feel?
Yeah, but of a younger Leia.
Yeah.
So for me, it has certain elements that's like the perfect combination. You have this element to where Leia is going through these trials to earn her spot as Princess of Alderaan. Like, they don't just give you the title because you're born into the family or you're part of the family. You have to earn it. So you have that, and with that part, it feels like a young adult novel. The way she's interacting with all the other kids and stuff like that. You have Leia as the young politician, the brave, bold Leia that we know. And this is 3 years before A New Hope. She's 16 years old. So you see why she is the way she is, and she's still the same, like, but just a little bit younger and naive. And also you see her crushing on boys. Like, she's still a young little girl too. As strong as she is, she's still a young girl. Yeah. So it's a perfect combination of all this, and also it has so much setup for the rebellion leading up to A New Hope and to what the rebellion becomes. I love it so far.
A lot of great references to different timelines, even the Clone Wars era stuff. There's a couple planets from Rogue One that we've seen.
True, yeah.
Yeah, everything. Claudia Gray, just write some stuff. I don't care what it is, I'll read it. Just write down things. Just write any words.
Just bullet points. Bullet points.
And I'll read it.
Have her work on a script. See how she does. Let's see how she does.
Yeah,
it's like J.K.
Exactly.
Rowling.
J.K. Rowling worked on some scripts.
She came up, just to deviate, just really quick. She came up with a great idea for the. If you follow her on Twitter, a great idea for the Obi-Wan movie, where Claudia Gray. She said that the villains in the Obi-Wan movie should be the Knights of Ren, and that they're on Tatooine for any reason, whatever, and that it's Obi-Wan Kenobi trying to figure out who they are and what they're after and trying to stop them.
Because maybe they existed, but they were just were hidden or something like that.
Shadow.
That's interesting. Yeah. That's interesting.
And that's what makes him go, okay, I got to get Luke into this, into the fold here. But I digress. But anyway, Leia, she has got a lock on Leia. Like we mentioned in our Tarkin review, the way James Lucino is with Tarkin, Claudia Gray, she's got Leia down to every last detail. And to cover, 30 plus
it's cool
years.
That she got to write Leia, like on older Leia, and then young Leia.
Young teenage Leia. And one of the things I mentioned to the guys before we started, the thing I love is the way, Bloodline starts off where Leia's tired. She's tired of politics. She's tired of the Senate. She's tired of bureaucracy and everything that goes in and nothing getting done. And she's ready to just walk away and just go hang out with Han Solo and fly around space and be the adventurous Leia that we know that she is. And then this book starts off. She's excited, enthusiastic to get into politics. She can't wait to get in there and make change, and she's gonna do something. And she doesn't like the Empire. She knows they're bad, but she knows that she can get in there and change it from the inside, the way her father has been teaching her to do. And it's a great, we see both ends of the spectrum of Leia, and it's very well done. And I love the way, like you mentioned, we get to know how and why Leia is who she is. That sense of adventure, like we talked about, she's her boldness and her courage and the way she's ready to just jump in, not blindly head first to do things, but she's the smartest person in the room almost all the time. And Claudia Gray really, she's got her thumb on that. That's really well done.
She's great.
Well, let me ask. So, does it reveal like when exactly this book takes place? Like how many years before, or after a certain time event?
So she's
just turning
turned
16.
16. And
So she's 19.
She's 19 in A New Hope.
Yeah.
So
it's 3 years
kind of
before.
know exactly. Yeah, it kind of.
So it's
tells
closer to the
timeline
original
that way.
trilogy than it is.
Oh, definitely.
The
yeah,
rebellion
for sure.
is starting to pick up steam here,
And you get a lot of Bail Organa. Obviously, you get to meet her mother.
her mom.
And
Yeah.
her adopted mother,
adopted
mother,
Yeah.
obviously, which is cool. I don't think we seen her in anything.
No,
canon?
we've never heard of her.
No, well, she was at the end of Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah,
that was it.
well,
She
Like
just
they
had
showed her, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. You get to learn a lot more about Leia and Bail Organa and Alderaan and everything involved around that,
Lots of stuff
leading
about
up
Alderaan.
to A New Hope, which is we all know the fate of Alderaan.
I know.
So it's kind of so sad, like reading this book and meeting these new characters and kind of knowing
that
what
they have
happens to
no
them unless
fate.
they're off planet at
Yep.
the time.
Yep.
Which who knows? This is not spoilers. They don't hint towards this in the book at all. But I always wonder, like, what if for some reason Bail Organa wasn't on Alderaan? Like he was off on a mission. We don't know, but I bet you he is, because then we would have seen him where he would have came back somehow.
I would have loved that because he is such a good character.
Oh, he's great.
Such
yeah.
a good character.
I love him in Rogue One.
Yes.
And his interaction with
Yes.
Mon Mothma is so great.
And if he'd have just stayed on Yavin,
Yeah.
he would still be on.
Yeah.
Oh, they hinted that
Remember,
he was
he
on
was-
Alderaan in Rogue One.
Yeah.
Obviously, yeah.
He said I need to go back.
That's the
to
thing.
tell
It's
my
crazy reading this book, and it's like, well, I know what
Yeah.
happens to you.
people. Yeah, I
Like,
know where this is going. Yeah.
So,
All right, so we're talking about all these new novels, and there's a upcoming brand new novel that'll be released in early December called Canto Bight, and we've mentioned Canto Bight earlier in the show. It is the Casino Planet and the Last Jedi. This is part of the Journey of the Last Jedi books that are being released. It's going to just tell stories or a bunch of aliens and different characters that we're going to meet on Canto Bight. And there's a little description of the novel, and it goes as follows. Canto Bight, named for the new casino city featured in The Last Jedi, is a collection of 4 interconnected novel-length adventures of the exotic aliens and creatures who frequent the local. The stories are written by Saladin Ahmed, Ray Carson, Mira Grant, and John Jackson Miller, and the book will be available on December 5th. So this, for me, this sounds super exciting because they're stepping away from the original stuff that we kind of know and we're getting used to, like the Leia or the Tarkin, like the main characters we've seen before, and they're giving us something different. And it's truly kind of a journey to The Last Jedi because we're getting almost a prequel to this city that looks to be playing a major part in this movie. I wonder if we're going to meet any major characters that will show up in the movie. I probably can guess yes. But I'm definitely down for it. It sounds cool. I love that it's kind of 4 different stories instead of one giant story. They're not going to reveal too much.
yeah, that's kind of cool.
More of a
Kinda
tease
cool.
per se.
'Cause there's probably
Yeah.
so much going on.
Exactly.
you know?
Well, in a casino, you know what casinos
Yeah.
look like in real life. Imagine what it looks like in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
So Keith, does this novel sound like something you'd be interested in before Last Jedi?
Oh, absolutely. A lot of sabacc. I want to learn more about that.
Yeah.
How to play it. No, I mean, it'd be great to see a lot of different characters. Probably a lot of political figures and other big business people that frequent this place, and we'll see
A lot of scum.
A lot of scum. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A lot of bad guys. Maybe we'll see some intermixing and see if there's any setup for not just episode 8 or 9, but just anything they want to do going
Spin-off.
forward. Yeah, some spin-off stuff. So yeah, I definitely look forward to reading that.
Yeah, I definitely am, because one thing in the Bloodline novel that I would love, I forget the name of the casino that they go
Yeah.
to, but it's a big setting in the book, and it plays a big part. And I was so fascinated with that world. Like as I was listening to it, I could just picture the whole casino in my mind.
That's what I thought.
And it was so interesting. And I love that in Bloodline, Leia goes and plays. I don't know what game she goes to play. Sabacc, and she's like whooping their ass on the game. Yeah. So it's like I want to see stuff like that in a casino. We haven't seen. Like, we've seen cantinas. Like, I think Maz Kanata's cantina maybe is the most similar environment that we've seen to a casino-type environment. Yeah. But I want to see this in live action on screen. Like, it sounds so awesome. And we know we've been hinted that it's going to play a big part in The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
I think that's where Finn and Rose are going to go. That's where they're probably going to run into Maz Kanata. And that's where they're probably going to meet DJ, which is... I mean, from all the hints that I've been reading about, that's kind of how I think it's going to unfold. So I can't wait for this novel, honestly, because it's going to set up. I'm going to learn a lot about it going into The Last Jedi, kind of like how Catalyst taught me a lot about before going into Rogue One.
I just hope that it doesn't become a Catalyst situation where
you have to.
Yeah, where it doesn't rely on that.
I think Catalyst is the one book where I would say you kind of have to read it for Rogue One to be a better movie.
Yes.
I would say so.
Yes. So I'm hoping that, Rian Johnson directing, I don't think that's going to be the case at all.
Because look at this. We're not going to see Rey in the Canto Bight. We're not going to see Finn in the Canto Bight. It's going to be like little side stories about workers there or people who've like regular.
Just kind of like what goes on, a backstory if the movie's not able to do that in a time length. So... speaking of the journey to The Last Jedi, we got a new comic that's coming after the release of The Last Jedi because it may feature a little bit of spoilers. It is called Star Wars The Last Jedi Storms of Crait. And if you don't know what Crait it is the planet in the trailer that features the cool little land speeders with the red smoke coming behind it. You see the distant new AT-ATs in the background, or the First Order. There is a description of the comic. It looks like it may just be a one-off. It features Luke and Leia. And the description goes as follows. Star Wars The Last Jedi Storms of Crait #1, a special one-shot comic that rewinds the galactic civil war following Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia Organa as they take up arms on the salt-covered world and search for a new rebel base. Written by Ben Acker and Ben Blacker, Star Wars The Last Jedi Storms of Crait #1 will be released on December 27th. I'm all for more young Luke and Leia. All for it. I'm all for stuff that features... planets we're going to see in the movie, especially when it goes into the past and it reveals, yes, they're looking for a new rebel base. We've heard that the new rebel base is going to be on this planet in the movie. So maybe Luke and Leia are the ones who discovered that this could be a potential spot back in the day. Not to say that they took it upon themselves to build something, but it could have just been a potential place and they had it kind of in the back of their minds. So I'm all for it. I'm excited to see Luke and Leia on their own. That kind of character stuff between them two, because we didn't see a whole lot of them by themselves in the original trilogy or stuff in between. So just the two of them, the Skywalker twins together, is going to be something super excited. So,
yeah, I agree, because like you're just saying, we don't get a lot of time with them knowing that they're brother and sister. Yeah. They find out near the end of Return of the... Or Leia finds out near the end of the Return of the Jedi, so we don't get to see them interact knowing that they're brother and sister. So this, they obviously know they are in this, and I want to see more of that. Like, I want to see more of the time era in between 6 and 7. Like, there's so much time, and the thing is, we have forever to explore that time period. But I want to see a novel or something diving into them figuring out each other as brother and sister. And this will be a little hint towards that. And it also, obviously, it's going to have spoilers for The Last Jedi if it comes out after The Last Jedi. Right. And that planet Crait, we were talking about it, Keith, it's in the Leia novel. Yeah. And it has a significant role in there. And for that orangish red color, it's like the theme of The Last Jedi for some reason. Like, this is a Last Jedi shirt. It has it on there. I have another Last Jedi shirt. It's orangish red. It's crazy how that color is like playing a big part. So yeah, I'm really excited about this.
Yeah, Crait is very important. So read that Leia novel certainly before you before you see the movie, and definitely get this, because it's all going to tie in. Whatever's there, Leia knows. I mean, this is an important planet. It's been a part of Leia's knowledge. Her the plans for the rebellion since the events of the Leia novel when she was 16. So it's a big deal. So this is going to be a big one, and for her to bring Luke there, and whatever they're setting up there, it's almost like what the Empire's doing way out in whatever, either Jakku or even further out into whatever
deep
they
space,
got planned
wild
out there,
space,
in the unknown region. So yeah, I can't wait to read this.
I also like that it's in comic form and it's not a novel.
Yeah, I like that they're switching up with different mediums.
Well, it gives it cool imagery, and not a whole lot's going to be revealed. Obviously, it's kind of just like a tease for what's going to happen.
I wonder how long it's going to be. Is it going to be as long as a regular like one-shot comic?
I don't know. I mean,
because you can't tell
like
one single
novel.
story.
Yeah, it could end up being like a graphic novel type.
I could see it being a small graphic novel, like, and being $10, like $9.99.
Right.
I would be down with that.
Yeah.
You need a little bit more pages than 25 or whatever.
And I would definitely agree with that for sure. So our final canon part of the show, we're gonna be talking about another short story type novel. It is called Star Wars from a Certain Point of View. Before we get into the details, let's do a little description of it. The stories of X-Wing pilots, droid hunting stormtroopers, and more background characters from Star Wars: A New Hope are about to be told by some very famous names. From a Certain Point of View, coming October 3rd, we'll bring together more than 40 authors from 40 stories, all in celebration of Star Wars' 40th anniversary. It's definitely a special release, and Del Rey has assembled an amazing cast of narrators for the audiobook version, including Jon Hamm, Neil Patrick Harris, Ashley Eckstein, who plays Ahsoka Tano, and Jonathan Davis. So basically, each one of these actors is going to be basically narrating a different story within this whole point of view. There's going to be maybe a little bit of Obi-Wan in there. It sounds like Ahsoka Tano with Ashley Eckstein in there.
She's definitely going to do Ahsoka for sure.
So this is pretty cool, and it's a cool way to bring the community of Star Wars together. It leaves me interested to see who Jon Hamm's going to be voicing. Is it just a small character? Is it someone relevant?
I think they said.
Oh, did they
Boba
say?
Fett.
Oh,
he's voicing
man.
Boba Fett. Yeah, they
Really?
announced that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That is awesome. So yeah, this sounds super.
here.
Yeah, this sounds super exciting. I'm interested to see when they take place. What stories they tell. There's 40 of them, so it seems like they're taking their time doing it. It's something very special because it is for the 40th anniversary, and they got some big names to do it too. So this is super exciting.
Oh, a bunch of authors that we've already mentioned. I don't think Claudia Gray is involved in this.
She's a little busy, I would think.
I wish, I hope. But I mean, Paul Kemp, who wrote Lords of the Sith. They mentioned Christy Golden.
She did a Dark Disciple, and the new one,
Battlefront
Inferno Squad.
2, the first Battlefront book. That author, Alexander Freed, I think is his name, wrote the Rogue One novelization. So they're bringing him in. 40 stories, 40 Star Wars stories, and I can't wait to read that. That's gonna be good.
I love this because sometimes it's a little tiring reading a whole long book, or just listening to a whole long book. I would like to just read one little story real quick, put the book down, come back a few hours later or the next day, read another one, and I could just chill with this book for a couple months and just keep reading all these little side short stories. I love this idea, and I'm guessing we're getting an Ahsoka one. I'm curious what that's going to be.
More Ahsoka, the better.
They're all going to be significant. Most of them are going to be really significant. I'm pretty sure they hinted towards an Obi-Wan one, right?
They did.
So, I'm going to love that. So, yeah, this sounds amazing.
Too bad they couldn't get Ewan McGregor to read Obi-Wan.
I know, right? Why not? Why wouldn't they? What?
That would be awesome.
Doing?
That would be really cool. Yeah. So that's going to wrap up the Padawan today. Thank you for joining us. And before we get out of here, I want to thank both these guys for joining me. Jacob, let them know where they can find you online, man.
You can find me on Twitter at @JacobBartley_, of course, on this YouTube channel all the time.
Keith?
At KeithBarnes79 on Twitter.
Yeah, make sure you follow me, Jake Boone at Qui-Gon Jake on Twitter and Instagram. This YouTube channel, check out everything we got going on here, including the Padawan, Canon Connections, our anthology, Comic Hero Talk, reviews, trailer reactions, as well as our iTunes. We are on iTunes, free, all up for you guys, audio. Also a little precursor to what's to come. We also got a show from Keith Barnes coming in the near future. Close Up, it's a little interview type show that'll be coming here pretty soon. So look out for that. Again, thank you for joining us, and until next time, may the Force be with you.